The highest I was clocked at was 136.
136?
Yeah.
I don't think I have enough space to move back like Medvedev. No! Hey guys, welcome back to episode number 12 of Train with Dylan. Today I'm here with Gary from the States. Welcome, Gary, to London.
Thank you, Dylan. It's been a really amazing time so far here. Loving every part of it.
So for the viewers out here online on YouTube who may not know you, Gary, tell me a little bit about your prior history of your tennis background.
Brooklyn, born and raised, and I've been playing tennis since I was about 3 years old. My parents started me. They were my coaches through my junior career, and I attended West Point, which is a military academy school in New York. I was there for 2 years, and then went to St. John's University, also in New York, and both are Division I programs. I was fortunate enough to play at a D1 program, which is really cool. I think that underestimated how difficult it is nowadays to get into a D1 program, but that was really cool. At the end of my collegiate career, I realized I was kind of coaching at a club nearby, and I realized that I was really enjoying the coaching. I was doing it as kind of like a side thing to make ends meet, and I realized that it's what I actually wanted to do. I wanted to coach somebody to a high level, maybe even play in the slams, and have a few players now playing ITFs. When I was finishing my collegiate career, I started coaching more, and I realized that in order to be able to take somebody to that level, I needed to experience it, at least know what training at that level is like. So I started training myself, played a few years on tour, managed to actually play a couple of really cool events like the New York Open, the ATP 250.
I saw
Yeah, it's really cool.
That was incredible.
Yeah, and got to travel, see the world, play this incredible sport. And then I went full-time into coaching, and now that's what I do.
Amazing. Yeah. And you also produce amazing quality content online as well. And take me through what you'd like to do today, because we came up with a few ideas showcasing different levels. So we're going to start at a beginner level. So talk to me what exercises or drills you'd like to take us through at a beginner level. So the three drills that we're going to do, and we'll kind of parse them a little bit, but the first one is a fun favorite for me. It's a touch and transition game, and main reason why I really like this game is because it's a game, and I find that teaching through games is much easier at every level. It allows players to actually enjoy the process. It's less technical, and allows for that kind of open development where a player can kind of pick and choose what they want to do. At the intermediate level, you take the same game and you move it back to the baseline. So you divide the court into 4 boxes. Service boxes, and you split the back area into 2. Same idea, you can't hit into the same box twice. Same idea, it's more continental, a little bit of slice work is involved. And at the advanced level, same game at the baseline, but you are also allowed to come in, and you are able to transition. But once a player transitions and moves forward to the net, the opponent is able to pass with a topspin shot. So it becomes more of an open game as soon as you chip and come in. Yep, and they can lob as well and things like that. And so it's forces a player to think in 2-shot sequences, because you can't hit into the same box. So you're thinking patterns, you're building patterns. You are also thinking about what your opponent can and can't do. So now you're kind of stepping out of yourself a little bit and forcing yourself to think about your opponent. And then it's a game, so it ends up being really fun. A lot of fun. Yeah. We'll definitely have a little go together, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it.
Oh man, carpet.
Your first time? Or in a long time?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though, because we're mic'd up now.
Yeah, this is, I've actually never done a mic'd up hit.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only shot content with the mic before.
You can hear everything.
Sorry. No, close. Sorry.
You're good.
Oh,
Little slice. Especially
wow,
on the
that's
carpet.
a crazy bounce. Can you do that again?
Slice.
Yeah. Wow. That's such a weird feeling. That is so wild.
So just want to touch upon the point of that you basically said that you want to coach the juniors to professional. And for me, that's showing proof of concept. You are the person personifying, I'm going to go there and do the hard graft. Tell me about your experiences, the highs, the lows, so other people online can get a better feeling of what it is really like and what it takes.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is people see professional sport and they think it's glamorous, and it's the furthest thing from that. It's living out of a suitcase for many weeks at a time, being away from home for many weeks at a time.
Yep.
It's incredibly expensive, and especially at the tennis at the lower levels, you make no money. So it's you're guaranteeing that you're losing money, even attempting to compete at a professional level.
Yes.
And it's very expensive. Flights are expensive, hotels are expensive, food is expensive, string is expensive, stringing is expensive, equipment, shoes, socks, underwear, right? Like basic things, the basic necessities. Really, it adds up the cost. I would say that the monetary burden is a large reason why so many players stop. And I'd say that that's something that not everybody fully understands.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think the general public understands, because we see the greats, we see the Novaks. And
yes.
I think it's always funny when people will be like, why is Rafa flying economy? You know, and it's like, well, you know, because he's got 40 of those flights this year, and those add up, right? You're not flying private, even if you're Rafa, all the time, rather. But that's a big one.
So what I'm interested in then is,
Yeah.
I know that you said that you want to coach at that top pro level, but what else drove you to want to compete at that professional level? Like, what inspired you inside? Because, like you said, the journey is not smooth sailing at all, by any means.
I would say the big thing is, well, being able to teach somebody, I think a really important way to do that is to show that you can actually do it, right? Whether it's, you know, like a drill that you know will allow you to execute under pressure because it's a pressure drill. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the mental side of the sport that not everybody, kind of the general public, might not also fully understand. Like, hey, serving 30-40, second serve, there are crazy thoughts that come into your head, right? Your hands get clammy, right? You might think, don't double fault, instead of thinking about the process. But the main thing that drove me was like, it's seeing the progression and seeing the development of a young player. So I kind of focus on players between the age of 10 and 18. And seeing the development, there's a few players that I've been with for a number of years. It's watching them grow. Nurturing, you know, watching them deal with the same problems that every adult has dealt with when they were kids. Amazing. And then trying to mentor them through that. I think that's
amazing, Gary. Yeah.
Thanks.
You are the mentor for these young juniors,
yeah,
budding juniors wanting to play college tennis.
Yeah.
They can come to you. You play college tennis.
Yeah.
They want to play professional tennis. Again, you play professional tennis. So you're that beck and call of, if someone needs that advice,
right,
you're the guy. You're the
Try
guy.
to be, yeah. And I think that there's a beauty to it, and I think that watching it from my side, it's a little selfish, I will say. It's seeing that development and that growth of a young player, I think is beautiful. You know, whatever they pursue, and people always ask, like, I'm getting to that age where people ask, am I going to have kids? Am I going to want kids? Am I going to want my kids to play tennis? Doesn't matter what they want to do. I think this kind of like development and progression in whatever field is beautiful, and seeing that flourish and nourishing it is really special. So,
oh, mate, I love that. I love that. Nice.
Yeah. Right, so can't hit the same box twice. Continental grip, just kind of bunting it. So you start off, you feed, we play like a tie break. right? So you go deep box to start, and then if it's close to the line, that's deep. So you tell your opponent where it's gonna go.
Got you.
So that's the same box.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right, so then you would lose that point.
I just saw the open court.
Right. And so you kind of have to move the ball a little bit, and it ends up being kind of fun. So
great.
again, ball goes past the middle line. If it's close to the line, you just call it.
Yep.
Oh, no touch.
Nice. Let's do first to 5.
Yeah. All right.
1.
Here you go.
The deep ball first. That was a short one.
Good, that's deep.
Oh, nice ball. I'm already thinking about the tactics right now as well.
Start thinking about the pattern building.
Yeah, makes me think.
That's short.
Good, that's deep.
Not there. All right,
And this, Gary, also relates to when you are at the baseline. You can already see it, how it's structured.
Yeah, and so you're thinking about creating space. That's another big one. You create the space to hit into.
Yep, definitely. What's that, 2-1?
Yeah. Generous call there, Dylan.
All right, 2s. On the line.
Right on the line. It's whichever way you want it.
Come on, deep.
I forgot.
Okay.
Oh.
Trophy.
Oh, the no-looker.
No look. Oh, he's got it.
Same box?
No, same box, yeah. Well done.
The other thing is, my heart rate's spiked.
Yeah, mine too.
So you're sweating, you're moving, and even though you're thinking tactically, it's not dull. And it's a great just little warm-up game for any level, to be honest.
And it's also great because the dexterity that you're using with your continental grip is something often overlooked. Most people say, let's do a tiny bit in the boxes and go straight back to the baseline.
Right.
I especially hear that from a lot of the clients I coach. I'm not sure for you, but they would say, guys, let's just do a tiny bit. And I'm not that great in the boxes, so
let's go back.
Whoa, hold on a sec. How much of tennis is played in the upper half of the court?
Yeah, and it's a lot of also broken points, right? When the ball doesn't come out the way it's supposed to, right? You have to be comfortable with moving it and just kind of dinking the ball.
That's right.
Adding in the pickleball.
I think you're up, but we'll say sudden death.
Great ball.
Oh. Oh. It's in. You had me.
A couple of generous calls. I'll take it. Thank you.
Good fun, mate. Nice.
That was awesome.
We'll go back and do some from.
What my players get on me about is I'll create a game and then I beat them. They're like, well, what am I supposed to do? You made this game up. You're supposed to win, right?
So Gary's supposed to win here because he made it up. That's great.
Yeah, because the serve plus 2 drill, right? You're taking that same game that we did with the touch and the slice, and you're applying it to that second shot intention. So serve plus 2, a lot of players just kind of think, they'll practice just serves, or they practice serve plus 1 sometimes. And I worked with he's a tennis coaching mentor of mine, Richard Bowie, a really great guy, and he talked to me through the Craig O'Shaughnessy stats.
Love that.
Where it's like the O to 4, right, is 70% or 75% of all points. He goes, why are we training the O to 4 because kids get impulsive, especially junior players, get like really trigger happy on that first ball. Because they need to end the point before the 4. And it's like, okay, really simply, if we train players to not miss up to the 7th ball, meaning serve +2 and return +2, they automatically don't lose points in the 0-4.
Because they're making the ball.
They have to get it to the +2 in second intention. So you play the wide serve, you play to the open court, you expect it to come back, and you play to the open court again. So now you've constructed a beautiful pattern. You've made your opponent run for 3 shots.
Very good.
And you've not pulled the trigger and you've not made an error. So at the most basic level, it cuts down on the errors, which is 80% of all points that are played are forced or unforced errors.
Right? But so
80% forced errors are about 50% at the pro level, unforced are 30, and then winners are only 20%, right? So you're cutting down on the unforced errors, you're extending the rally just a little bit, and you're having that intentional plan. So it's really great. And it carries from that simple touch game to the serve +2 and then return +2 as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Ladies doubles on the next court, and the returning woman, returning side, asked her partner, does the opponent serve softly? So it's really cool to see, even at the recreational or the amateur club level, players thinking about, oh, what type of ball am I going to be receiving? What type of shot am I receiving? How do I adjust? And it's actually kind of cool to see that. All right, so full court, slice or Conti only. Can't hit into the same box.
Oh.
Right? Feed has to go past the service line cross court, and you play it out.
Okay. No drop shot.
Missed it. Fantastic. So for this iteration, no volleys.
No, yeah, I was running back. I was thinking, can I volley or not?
So you don't volley here because you're still thinking about how do I create the space, how do I move the ball.
I see. Okay, we'll go again. No. We're counting points, though?
Sure.
So 1.
Always competitive, always.
Game based. Wide. Too much. Okay.
So a great pattern to run here is the, not that one. Great pattern to run here is the Spanish X. Let's see if I can do it. Deep, short, deep, short.
Too much.
Yeah. Somewhat successful. One more.
Yep.
So, again, deep, deep, short.
Oh, you got me.
Fantastic.
Good stuff, mate.
So,
I think
I was chatting through it while we were doing it.
Sure, yep.
And just saying that great pattern to run here is the Spanish X.
I see.
Deep, short, deep, short. You're creating the versatility with your slice.
Yep.
And the touch, thinking about how you're constructing the point. And you can either go create space by playing deep first, or create space by playing short first, up to you as a player. I think that forces a player to think more.
And I like how you're using different varieties in the actual, not just left to right movement. 70% of movement is laterally.
You're right.
So you're actually getting them to come off from the baseline into players' non-comfort zones.
Yes.
Get them to try new things, especially someone like myself. I always come over my forehand when I'm deep. But when I'm closer to the net, I have good feel and touch generally, maybe not in this one. But in terms of slicing from the deep at the baseline, when would you say slicing on the forehand is appropriate? Because sometimes this can be personalized as well.
For sure. I think you look at Carlos Alcaraz is a great example of it. He has a cannon, right, of a forehand. And yes, he has an amazing forehand drop shot, but he's pulled the Fed out many times where he'll
You're right.
disguise the drop and then chip deep. Or a really common way I see players use the forehand slice is a short low ball in the mid-court, right, where you're kind of forced to transition a bit, and you might chip it inside out or inside in.
You want to show us?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
So I'll take it to either corner. You could just give me a low feed, and then I would go in, follow it forward, and you set up a volley because the slice will then force your opponent to lift the ball a bit. And it's just the versatility to force your opponent to lift. Again, I think a really important component of having a good forehand is having versatility with the shot. So players will sometimes ask, why are we working on the forehand slice? I'll never use it in the match. What about a squash shot? Yep. When you're stretched out wide, or that low uncomfortable ball, especially if you have a heavy grip, heavy Western, you might need to use it. And then also, you have to think about past your own game. What does your opponent not like?
Yeah.
So maybe they really hate low balls. And yes, they're dealing with your forehand exceptionally well when you're hitting and coming over it, but anytime you give them a junk ball, they collapse. So understanding when to use it is also thinking tactically and strategically about your strengths versus opponent's weaknesses.
Perfect, Gary. No,
Cool.
cheers.
This progression, now you're, again, it's same full court. You're gonna take all the boxes, right? Can't hit into the same square, but now you have the option to volley, hit overheads. But as soon as you make the commitment to come in and volley, the opponent can come over their shot. So they can hit it, they can rip it. So now you have to probably be a little bit more confident about the type of ball you come in off of, placing it better, hitting it better. But same idea, can't hit into the same square.
Gotcha. Let's play. First to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's not a good start. I got excited. Oh.
Tall frame at the net. I'm not sure what I can do.
No, that was really impressive.
But
it's also, I'm thinking about, I can't hit it back that way because I just hit my approach there. I have to move it.
And I can come over that ball because you've come in.
Oh, sorry. So that's short.
Yep.
That feed wouldn't count.
Yep.
Oh, he's pulling me in.
Oh, I'll try to get to your feet.
Generous call there, Dylan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Guy's too nice.
My slice came up.
Gotta keep that hand speed.
Yes. I was thinking of the tactic drop shot come in, but it came off better in my mind.
That's how every shot I hit is like. Oh,
like,
it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be Roger-like, right?
It's up to me. Thank you very much. Oh, Dylan. Sorry, mate.
Play it. Good depth. Whoa.
Decision making. Okay. All right. I'm going to sharpen up now.
Good point construction. That's a great approach.
All right.
A lot of pressure, great depth.
Whew. Okay.
I'm just gonna move this.
Yeah, let's do that.
Safety first. Okay. So, good point construction.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's a good ball.
Work the point a little. Come in.
That's unbelievable. Gary, that's all you.
Highlight reels once in a while.
So I think it's interesting for both sides. Once we opened it up to the transition, the errors went up.
Definitely.
Right, and I think that that also is important for players to see that for themselves. Right, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take more risk. There's gonna be more errors. I don't have to win all of the points. You pointed out decision making. Better decision making, less errors, better court positioning, all of that plays into being successful even in this kind of, you know, constrained game.
I agree, because sometimes I'm also trying to do too much as well. That can be quite an important thing to remember.
Ooh. He's got it. Oh. And then
Nice
the other
volley.
fun part there is, you know, you're forcing a player a lot of times approach and then volley open court. You have to volley open court, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't go back to the same side.
Yep.
Or you're limited with your
So I also know what you're doing.
Yes.
But even that, I still couldn't.
Yeah.
Get
so
through that.
you're better, end up being better at defending it. That's
We'll go
poor.
again.
Sorry.
Keep going.
That's fancy. That's fancy.
Did I go in the same box though?
You did.
No.
So that gets tough.
Would you like to just do a few serves then, Gary, as well?
So best shot of the day, but it didn't count for him because he went to the same box.
It just didn't count, unfortunately.
So even as I'm warming up, I haven't served in 2 weeks. Been on a little vacation. Working the shoulder through it, allowing my momentum to go forward. Add in a little bit of legs. Add in a little swing.
Oh, the one-e. Lovely.
So the serve +1 and +2 drill, pretty simply, you want to force players, and you want to get players to start thinking about targeting, again, pattern building, from the start of a point. Now, oftentimes I'll watch players, it's actually funny, people think at the beginner level that they'll struggle with this, but actually, even at the advanced level, kids that are playing national or ITF events have no idea about pattern building. They're just hitting balls. They're not exploiting weaknesses or having intent, right, and a clear intention. So even at the beginner level, this drill is awesome. Where you're gonna start off is you'll split a service box and you'll split the back box into two. So you split the service box and you split the back box into two. You simply run the pattern. We're gonna go wide, wide. At the beginner level, the player just has to make this target and make that target, and they get 1 point. You can play to 5, you can play to 10. If they miss it, no points, right? We don't necessarily want to penalize beginners. We want to promote their love of the game and promote their growth. So no penalties at the beginner level. So I'll demonstrate from the far end.
Yep, let's do it. Also, what's very useful about this exercise is that we have laid out lines in the court as well. This helps you with the structure and visualization of where you're aiming as well.
So I'm going to serve with intent. I'm going to serve wide. I'm going to come around it. Wide. Clipping the line there. Challenge.
It looks good. I'm not sure if the camera can see it.
So a good simple ball. Now I'm going to run the other pattern. I'll go T, same corner. Miss the serve. Still run the pattern. just so that you're getting the reps in, but
so
that doesn't count.
For this pattern, you'd go T and then...
T, same corner. So we'll hit the target again, T, more of a body, but that's all right. And then same corner, generous call again.
And also, why would you go back behind, let's say? So, for instance, if I'm hitting, well, lefty I'm a forehand, but righty I'm a backhand, I would hit here, my body weight's going here.
You want to play behind them to force them to change direction, and again, get your opponent moving. So it also depends on the strength and weakness of an opponent. Me as a big player, you want to run that pattern against me, because my change of direction is quite tough.
Well, show me one without actually saying.
All right, so again, we'll run T. No, that's more body. It's all right. Same corner. We'll do one more wide, wide. Find the forehand, boom. Very nice. Great. So pretty simply, that's the beginner level for this. So at the intermediate level, you want to add in more options for where the player will serve. So you go wide, body forehand for Dylan as a lefty, body backhand, or T to the backhand. And then you add in a constraint of no hitting in the middle with the +1. So spreading the court immediately, whether it's wide or back into the same corner. And so you create this tram line through the middle where you're forced to avoid the middle. Right?
Brilliant.
Pretty simple. So you're going to run a pattern of choosing. You can also ask the player what type of pattern they want to run. So in this case, I'm going to run a body forehand to jam your forehand on the ad side, and then I'm going to play to your backhand with my +1. So I'll try to target that as best as I can. And again, boom.
Perfect.
Great. So I was able to hit the targets.
And is your goal here for the next ball to be deep, to be short? What type of ball are you looking to hit on the next one?
So for the intermediate, you just want to be avoiding the middle. You can set the constraint of having to hit it past the service line as well. I think that's great. So you're working on the depth element, right? So now I'm going to go a little wide now and spread the court again. Boom.
Great serve.
Massive serve.
Yeah. Kicked up. Boom. Out of my zone. Oh, that jumped up. I got it.
Good.
Too good.
And so here we're building a serve +1 pattern, right? As the player gets more confident with this, we're going to add in a +2. So what we would do there is I would run the wide, 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 or I might go directly into the same pattern where I go wide and then 2 to the backhand to start a 2 cross score, 1 down the line, right off of the ground. So start wide. I'm going to play my +1 and the +2 to start the 2 cross score, 1 down the line ground stroke pattern that I'm hoping will then expose his movement throughout the rally. So again, now I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing in my point, not just how I start the point.
Great.
So here,
share the other side, the T one.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go T, and I'm played it back to the same. Oh, missed the serve. So we'll go T, same corner. I want to avoid Dylan's forehand because that thing is a cannon. So I'm going to play back behind him and then make him run to the backhand side.
Great.
Watch that ball.
And thank you. And Gary, I just wanted to, one sec. Oh. Which balls do you have? Wilson? Same as me. Same as me. So Gary, in particular, is this on the first serve, second serve, or can you do this on both? What would you?
I would say do it on both.
Great.
Right? You want to have, again, it's building clear intention with how you start the point. It also takes your mind from the pressure of the score to the process. What am I actually doing in the point?
Agreed.
How am I going to construct the point rather than, break point or game point or set point or whatever it might be. All right, so one more. We'll go, let's go big T serve here.
Alrighty.
Don't need a +1 for that one. Yeah.
It's not coming back anyway.
right, here we go, one more.
Oh, I jumped up. Ready.
So there we have a really simple pattern. Ended up going tee, back behind them, and then playing to the open court. And that allows me to impose my will, because serving to the tee on the outside, you're likely going to get a ball in the middle or to my forehand. So I'm thinking about using my weapon. I'm going my weapon, even though it's his forehand, I've spread him, and I'm closing behind it to go to the open court. So building back from the first drill, this is a great way to keep the progression going.
Perfect.
Cool. The advanced level, the advanced progression for this is we're adding in a depth component. So statistically, we know that if you serve within a foot of the line, your serve ends up being much more effective, right? And then statistically, first ball past the service line. And then for the advanced, so for the advanced, we add in the service line depth, and we have the serve depth. And statistically, we know that a serve that's served about within a foot of the line, whether it's depth-wise, we'll use depth, but it could also be from the sideline, is statistically less attackable, and it's going to be much more effective. And then a first ball.
Let me bring it.
So statistically, we know that if you serve within a foot of the line, your serve is much less likely to be attacked. It's just deeper in the court. It's going to press your opponent. And then depth, as we relate it to our ground strokes, it has to pass at least the service line relative to the level, but that's kind of what you're aiming for. So serve within the foot of the line, ground strokes past the service line to apply pressure. You can even make a marker here, but I think for the sake of this game, it's great to do it this way. The way that you score now for the advanced level, there are penalties. So you have to make the serve, you have to make the +1. Once they're doing well with that, you go into the +2. So you have to hit serve +2. Serve has to go past the line. +1 and +2 have to be past the service line outside of the middle. If you miss the serve, you're still fed a +1. If you miss both, you lose all of your points. So there is a constant pressure component here that you're building into a drill, because as we know, match level pressure is really difficult to replicate in practice. And this is a great way to do it, because you're forcing the player never to check out. They have to be checked in on every contact, whether they make or miss a serve. Because sometimes, we've all seen it, you serve, you think your ball is out, the guy returns it or the gal returns it, and you just kind of bunt it and they're like, I didn't call it.
Yep.
And you lose a point, right? So this kind of deals with that as well.
Brilliant.
So we'll demonstrate this really quickly.
I'm sure the guys want to see Gary serve as well. Serving really, really fast. Gary, what was your top speeds of your serves back when you were playing?
The highest I was clocked at was 136.
136?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I don't know if my shoulder still has it, but...
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think I have enough space to move back like Medvedev.
Okay, so we're gonna go for a T serve here.
Yep.
Right, again, you call it if it goes past the tram, or past the line rather, and then we'll do the +1 as well.
Definitely. Yeah, good speed.
So serve was close. He was kind of generous with that call, but again,
so I would have said no on the serve, but the next one, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go wide here. See if I can hit a kicker.
No! and I broke a string. Gary, you're making me snap strings. Didn't so big.
I remember.
That's so good.
On the carpet, my flat hitting is great. So even though my kick serve was short, he played it back. I have to make my +1 for me to not lose all my points. So again, forcing me to stay engaged, and forcing me to continue to play it.
I would mention one point as well, is that if Gary hits slightly shorter, I should try to look to step in, especially on the kick serve like that, to cut the angle off.
So I'll go back to your backhand body here.
Yep.
Okay. See if I could get the depth. Great return. Immaculate.
Yeah, thank you. What about Gary?
All right, well, That's not a good serve target for him, clearly. Let's go back to the tee. No.
Yep, and again.
Was that in?
Nope. Might have been. Challenge.
Challenge.
Oh, yes.
Good, +1, +2. Oh, with the delicate hands. Bravo, bravo.
Don't play that shot, I would say.
So that pattern is great because you're, again, the depth there, I start thinking about having to toss further into the court to get more of my body behind the serve to get the depth I want. I'm thinking about finding my forehand for my +1 and my +2 while running the pattern I want, keeping the depth. That was an incredible dropper. Can't do much about that, but I'm happy with how I started the point.
Yep.
I didn't miss within the first 4 touches.
You hit depth and you made your next ball, put me under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so, I guess in a match situation, you would look to really take charge on the next one.
Yes.
You were nice and friendly with that nice open court.
Yeah, and could close behind it. Again, it depends on what I'm trying to get out of my patterns. But again, the key here is I'm extending the rally to 7 while being aggressive, while running patterns, while having clear intention, while having the depth.
Yeah, I love that.
If my opponent outplays me like Dylan did there, that's too good. I'm not going to win every match, but I know that I'm doing the right things.
Yep.
Then I might start thinking about, okay, Dylan likes the ball here. Maybe on the next shot I got to play it heavier, or I got to change rhythm, or I got to chip it. Right? And now I'm starting to think about what I'm doing. I'm not just stressing about, oh, I lost the point, I missed it. I first forced my opponent to earn the point.
Brilliant. That's perfect, Gary. Gary, thank you very much for taking me through these very fun exercises from beginner, intermediate, into advanced. Definitely it's things also that I will incorporate more in my own clients when training. I find that the forehand slice is something that can be adapted and used at certain times. And I think, yes, it should be used more, for sure. I also really like how you structured everything in progression. That's something that everyone can understand from every level. And I think if you were to jump into those exercises and say, guys, we're going to go straight into this intermediate exercise, and someone's like, whoa, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
I know you think I can play and I can have a good game, but I don't understand. Gary, what's next? And you're like, well, I'm not too sure. Let's try to tweak it. You're like, no, I have a progression. I have a syllabus of exactly what exercises come next. And I think that is very valuable in being a great coach, and also having the awareness of knowing what your player will need to benefit them the most.
Thanks. I think a big part of that is the progression. It's also the ability to regress. And I think something I talk to my players a lot about is when they come to me as a coach, they're coming for me to help them problem solve. Like I'm there as an aid, right? It can't be me talking and them executing. They actually have to be able to think on the court. So the ability for a player to be able to regress or progress themselves through drills, through technique, through whatever they might need in order to be able to execute on that day, on that match day, in that practice or whatever it is, I think is incredibly valuable for the players themselves.
Brilliant. And Gary, would you like to share a little bit of advice for some top juniors who are looking to either take the college route or the professional route, or even steps in the future for what they would like to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 3 main things that I would suggest, number 1 is spend way more time on the mental side of the sport. You get to a certain level, everybody can hit forehands, everybody has serves, everybody can volley. What it actually determines a lot of these matches, and you and I were able to witness some incredible semifinal at Wimbledon match play from all the women, right? It was incredible. Very, very, very competitive. It's what's happening up here, right? How are you dealing with the pressure? What is the quality of your self-talk? Right? Are you calm under pressure? Are you happy? It's actually one of the things that I really love about Paulina, right, is that she's smiling. It's 8-all in the tiebreaker in the final set in the semifinal of Wimbledon. She's laughing after she mishits the ball, right? She's just having a great time. And I think that's what people point out a lot about Carlos Alcaraz as well, is he'll laugh and his opponent plays an immaculate point. He's like, just great stuff, just enjoying it, right? So the mental side, dealing with the pressure, quality of the self-talk, right? The second is do the off-court work. I think a lot of junior players spend an immense amount of time on court hitting balls, not enough time taking care of their body off court, right? Your training is not done once you're done hitting. You've got to stretch, you've got to do mobility work beforehand, band work, prehab, rehab, all of this stuff. So
a whole approach to being a professional, and a lot of people may think that you're only seeing what happens on the court.
Right.
So I love how you're touching into that.
I think the big part, like for me, I'm just a lowly coach at this point, right? And my daily prehab routine is about 30 minutes, right? So that's what I do every morning. And it allows me as a big guy to not be injured. And I think that that's incredibly valuable for all players. And it's not just the juniors. I think the adults could, the amateur players could also take something from that. And I think the last thing is practice serves and returns, right? I don't think enough players, it's boring. It is incredibly boring to hit buckets and just work on the +1. I don't think enough juniors value the serve and return component. So many players are thinking about, how do I hit a bigger forehand? How do I have this, Kyrgios or Carlos Alcaraz-like touch, and how do I hit a tweener? But they double fault 6 times a match.
Yeah,
right?
Or why am I losing then?
Yeah, or I miss every second serve return into the fence. It's like, well, yeah, you can't start a point, you can't win the match. And I think spending way more time on court with regards to your serve +1 and return +1, that's got to be the biggest thing that you focus on.
Brilliant 3 points. And also, I wanted just to touch upon something for your own personal self and for the people online to know, what are your next progressions in life with tennis and everything that you're doing? So
one of the things that we were actually chatting about is I've got to do a way better job with my own content and branding component. That's from the business side. One thing that I've been really working on is shifting towards being able to work with more high performance players and being able to provide more for them. So kind of partnering with agents and companies that will facilitate training on the road, as well as academies abroad that can aid players as they develop and as they continue on the pathway. Those are kind of the big kind of goals for me over the next 3 to 5 years.
Amazing. And we have a question from my previous guest, and this is to do with, how has tennis helped you overcome obstacles in life outside of the tennis realms?
So I'll take it into a sad place for a second, I apologize. I lost both of my parents, my dad when I was still competing at the professional level, my mom 2 years ago. Both accidents and not great things, so that's the sad part. The great part is that tennis was a place of solace for me, was a place of safety, right? You walk onto this court or onto any court, right? And you're within these walls. All you have to actually think about is hitting this fuzzy yellow ball. And there is a meditative component to that. There is a place of simplicity as well as complexity that allows you to kind of bring your mind to, and it has been tremendous in that personal component. And then from just my life, my closest friends are all through the beautiful sport of tennis.
Wow,
right?
incredible, mate.
The players that I grew up playing with at a junior level are going to be, the groomsmen at my wedding, right? So that's kind of what I love about the sport. It's not just the tennis, right? It's also something that you've done an incredible job with. It's the community. It's a community both in person and online, right? This sport has done so much for me and opened up so many doors, and I'm so grateful for it.
Well, that's incredible, Gary. And like you touched upon, it's more than tennis.
Yeah.
It's to the realm of everything in life and everything that we live and breathe.
Yeah.
Which is honestly very incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we can also connect and meet in person
so
for
cool.
the first time after speaking for many, many years as well.
It's so
sure
cool.
We'll match up many more times and we can play and train and create some awesome videos as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to ask if you could share one question for my next guest.
Okay. I'll tie it back into my own personal lows, but in the lowest of lows, where you are, whether it's on the court, maybe you're having a really rough day, right, or in life, what have you learned from the sport that you can then utilize to either deal with it, or in the best way, where is it that you take your mind, and what has the sport allowed you to kind of take your mind to that will allow you to pull yourself by the bootstraps out of that place and into maybe a place of happiness So I would ask, in the simplest way, in the simpler way, is what has tennis given you tools-wise to be able to take yourself from the lows of lows back into the highs of highs?
Amazing. Thank you very much, Gary, for your time. It's
Thank
been
you, brother.
incredible.
Yeah.
And I know that we're going to catch each other in the near future.
Oh yeah.
All right?
Yeah, absolutely.
US Open, baby. Let's go. Nice,
Thank you
baby.
so much.